What is up, Earthnoids and Spacenoids? I am just a simple Newtype, and in this episode we're returning to the manga Advance of Zeta. Last time Zola lost his teammate Shorter by the hands of the Titans test team. Elliot got to pilot a Gundam, and Carl dropped down in the TR-4. This time, Elliot does a flyby and gets thrown into the brig while at Khartoum base. In space, Elliot pilots the Advance Hazel, and the Titans go up against a Levian Rose-class dock ship. So let's get into this. The Dandelion transforms into mobile suit form. They are both almost out of power. They have to finish this quickly. Two goofs on Dodai's attack. Elliot slices one goof in half, while Carl swoops down and rips the other goof off its sublight system like a bird grabbing its prey. Carl says, "That's a mobile suit?" to Elliot after he transforms. They don't like the TR-3 or the TR-4. Once the batteries drain below a certain threshold, its performance drastically reduces. As much as these AOZ designs are amazing, many of them are quite inefficient. They all eventually get refined into something usable by the time we get to the Grips conflict. Don't worry, those chicken feet don't go to waste. The Dandelion will go on to influence the Boundock. They called Khartoum base to help with the pickup, but they tell the Titans to deal with it themselves. With what remains of his battery, Elliot does a flyby, shattering all the windows. He asks for a pickup again, and they oblige, though he gets thrown in the brig for his actions. This happens in the novel as well, but they portray Elliot's actions as more hostile in the manga. He is mad that EFF just sat back and watched as their supposed comrades are attacked, though it seems that Elliot doesn't seem to see the massive divide between the Titans and EFF. Carl thinks that Earth is hot and a hellhole of endless war. He goes to the hangar where he takes a look at the mechanics and pilots who did nothing for them, and call them all a pathetic waste of the Federation. One says, "Well, we know Colony 30 wasn't an outbreak, but a failure on your end." Carl yells at him and says that he and his team puts themselves on the front lines, while they all get soft on Earth. Wes comes down to Earth and pulls Elliot out of solitary. He needs to remain on schedule and tells the base commander to go through the proper channels if he wants to court-martial Elliot. Wes slaps him for pointing a gun at his comrades. I don't think he did this in the book. He just did the flyby, because it would break the story, which is Elliot's lawyer helping him from being court-martialed. Of course, this manga completely removes this element of the story. I don't know, this seems like a fundamental change that kind of ruins things. Elliot gets no downtime because of this incident. He proceeds to have a casual conversation with Carl. That sounds like downtime. Carl took off his jacket. He can't handle the heat. He has an old camera and takes a photo of a bird. In the hangar, Audrey is testing Hazel Unit 2 and the shield boosters. They are waiting for parts to show up from Luna 2. They mention a new weapons testing facility built on Grips. A Titans team is escorting a cargo shuttle. Meanwhile, Elliot is back in space and testing the sub-arms on the Hazel 2. While testing, they spot friendly mobile suits approaching. It is Hi-Zack escorting a shuttle. Their leader is in a Garibaldi Beta, high mobility type. They are bringing the supplies from Luna 2. The pilot is Maxim Gunner. He is an old friend of West's. He introduces his team to Murphy's old war buddy. The two fought together during the Delaz conflict. They were both on an Alexandria-class ship together. Which one? Perhaps the Algiza. Also, apparently West served under Synapsis before he was a scapegoat for the Delaz conflict. I can't find a source on that, however. Maxim seemed to be a part of the handoff team when it came to transferring the G3 gas to Colony 30. Maxim's commander committed suicide, so he knew what he was doing. He was a Titans member, but is back to being a regular Fedi soldier. Carl doesn't like having Gunner around the hangar criticizing everything. Gunner tells Wes about Grips and the expansion of mobile suit production. Gunner talks to Elliot about why he left the Titans. He says that he walked away on his own terms. He hates the Titans. This constant military expansion is too ominous for him. Elliot thinks that it is essential to deter Zeon remnants. Gunner points his empty gun at Elliot. He gives him words of wisdom and suggests pulling the trigger quicker if he wants to follow the rigid orders of the Titans so blindly. In the manga, they definitely make Elliot come off as more young and delusionally idealistic. Tomorrow, they're doing a mock battle. Gunner tells him he better be ready. Once alone, he calls Elliot foolish. The next day, after Elliot launches, Gunner performs an unauthorized launch in his Garibaldi. Elliot is ordered to chase him down. The two get some distance between them and the Aswan. He stops and tells Elliot that the Titans are his enemy. He has to fight him right here if what he said yesterday were true. Elliot is frozen in shock when Carl comes in piloting the Hi-Zack cannon. The RMS-106C Hi-Zack cannon features an all-new cannon pack which was originally tested on the Gem Sniper 2 medium-range support type. This gives the Hi-Zack increased firepower. The main weapon of this unit is the 240mm cannon mounted on the backpack. It uses shell weapons as the generator isn't that strong. A detachable armor unit can be added to the chest. Stronger mobile suit generators were made, outshining this, and it never went into mass production. This unit makes a good rear guard unit. Other weapons include a shoulder shield, a 3-2 missile pod on each side, a bullpup machine gun, and a regular shield. Carl tells Elliot to treat Gunner as a hostile. Elliot hesitates but eventually attacks Gunner and the Garibaldi. He says that once you go against your brother in arms, all you have left are your convictions. He is willing to throw it all away for the truth. It isn't the anti-Federation movement that are the terrorists. It is the Titans. This is where the scene ends in the book. But here we see a quick debriefing between Elliot and Wes. It appears he shot at Gunner. He doesn't kill him, so why even add the fact that he shot? Kazakh Larson lost a leg during the last battle. He is sad that he will no longer go into battle in a mobile suit. Kazakh wonders if joining the AEUG is worth it, but he stands behind Zola's judgment. They meet up with the AEUG fleet. Zola happens to meet with Hildegard. This is the girl that distracted Elliot. She is a former Zeon pilot piloting a gym, which throws off Zola. Nonetheless, there is no going back. They are ready to become a part of the AEUG. It has been a year since the incident with Gunner. Elliot still wonders what path Gunner took, which allows him to stay true to his convictions, while also abandoning his teammates. Elliot is piloting the Advanced Hazel. Carl doesn't like the mono eye on a Gundam. Audrey shows them stories that are circulating on the internet about an attack at Side 7. This is Quattro's assault and theft of the Mark II. Carl still doesn't believe these things. Open conflict with the AEUG began after the hijacking of the Mark II. However, many wouldn't know the existence, including Elliot. Meanwhile, Zola and Hildegard are also working with Gunner. They struggle to find common ground. Zola looks up at his new unit, the Ashimar. He mentions that he fought a prototype of this a while back. He is ready to use this to flush out the Titans test team. August of UC 0087, Kamchatka base. The Titans test team drops down and attacks. Wes is now piloting the Fiver. He recognizes the enemy pilot's voice as Zola, but Wes isn't piloting Hazel this time. It is Elliot. The two begin fighting. Zola is informed that the Kamchatka base commander has been captured. This base has been taken. He decides to make his retreat for now. Elliot says he won't forget the name Zola. It has been 5 months of non-stop action since the attack on Grips. The nuke at Jaburo has already gone off and they are blaming the AEUG. Audrey is going out on the next mission in the G-Parts Hurdudu. Their next target is Rosa Giganta, a Levian Rose class dock ship. Their plan is to swing around the moon and head to Side 7 near Luna 2. Nemos will be guarding Rosa Giganta. The AEUG forces that were fighting on Earth have made it back into space and they will probably encounter them again during this battle. Elliot hopes to run into Zola again. Kazakh has a pep in his step, and I don't mean that because of his peg leg. He shows Zola the new Rick Diaz and tells him to thank Hildegard for getting this to them. Zola hasn't made any modifications to this yet. It's not the Rick Diaz Stetzer just yet. Hildegard wonders why Zola volunteered for the Rosa Giganta mission. He says he wanted to fight against Elliot and the Black Otters once again. Hildegard is amazed that Elliot is still alive after their previous encounter. They get a red alert. The Titans are approaching. Zola moves out. The battle wages on. Zola spots 2 Gundams on the battlefield and thinks that this desecrates the Gundam's name. Carl is using the Advanced Hazel in this sortie. They're given orders to go to Plan B and destroy Rosa Giganta. Suddenly, Carl is shot. Wes moves in with the Gap plant and rescues Carl while Elliot and Audrey run support. Zola attacks the Gundam. He wonders if this is Elliot or Wes that he is fighting. Zola says so long as he is piloting the Gundam, he will face people like him. Elliot remembers when Wes told him about how the Gundam is also a symbol of hatred for former Zeon. Zola is able to get a shot on Elliot and take out his left arm, but Rosa Giganta goes up in flames and Zola makes his retreat. Carl's voice comes on the comms telling everyone that he is alright. In the medbay, Carl says, "I'll handle it, piece of cake." Audrey tells him he was passed out just a few moments ago and to shut up. Carl is just glad it wasn't Audrey. He has been overprotective of Audrey throughout the past few missions because he can't tell her that he likes her for some reason. But he also makes strong hints and she's just like la 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 la. He says that if she died, he would have nothing left to come back to. And then he passes out again. Elliot watches the two banter. And that will do it for this episode. This is the first time in the manga where they made a subtle change that actually seems to change the characterization. Elliott's anger at Khartoum base would have given Elliott one guilty verdict if this was the novel. Elliott should have more resolve. The flyby would have been enough. It is interesting that both Hildegard and Gunnar ended up being on Zola's team directly during all of this. Next time, we will conclude the Flag of Titans. Elliott chokes a bitch at Kompe Island. The Titans watch a broadcast of Shar Aznable revealing himself to the world, and Elliott will be tasked with destroying the TR-6. But that will do it for now, Newtypes. Remember, tell the girl how you feel, especially during war. Wait a minute, we're at war now. I gotta go tell her how I feel. Peace.